What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is Adam, or your friendly neighborhood otter. Been a bit, I understand. Computer ended up not being able to handle a lot of the things that I was playing, so we're going to take it back a little bit. Recently, in the trading card game realm, Disney's Lorcana had recently launched. So we're going to kind of go through some of this stuff because I bought a couple packs physically to play at home, and then there it ends up being a simulator that you can play online with some folks, randoms, or with friends. And we're going to kind of go through very basics of the card makeup, as well as the application or the simulator that I'm using here as well to show you how to do an install. There's other videos out there that go into much deeper depth than what I'm going to go into. I recommend checking out YouTube channels for either Unplayable. Those guys cover more than just Lorcana, but they have some really good stuff on Lorcana. And then there's also the Lorcana Academy. The folks over there have done even pitting, or going so far as to pit the starter decks one-on-one to see who kind of comes out the victor on those. So let's get into this and some of the basics here. So I'm going to use the simulator to kind of show what we're looking at here. Each card, I guess, for makeups, and we can kind of, let's take it a little further. The cards in Lorcana use a system called ink, which is similar to mana and things like Magic the Gathering or Energy and other games, I guess, to summon cards of either heroes, princesses, or your characters, if you will. So the basics of these cards is pretty simple, right? The cost of the card is the number of ink in the top left-hand corner. If you have a ring such as this around the number, that means that this card can itself be used as ink. And part of the ruling is that you show it to your opponent and then you flip it face down. And on the back of it will have a symbol that looks like the inkwell, if you will, right? Similarly, cards that do not have that cannot be used as ink, but still will cost that amount. So each card also has, well, I should say each character card also has a strength and a willpower, right? Showing the amount of damage that they can handle, or dish out, I should say, and the amount of damage that they can take before they are banished, which then goes into your discard pile. Similar to other games elsewhere, you've got the class of the card, or the color, if you will, and there are 6 total colors within Lorcana. To look at them right now, they are actually mislabeled inside of the application. That's okay. Red is actually ruby. We have blue is sapphire. Green is emerald. Orange is actually amber. Purple is amethyst. And gray is steel. So those are the 6 colors of the game itself. Back to the cards. They each have certain things, such as there's songs, which is a song card, such similar to an instant action or an action, if you will, in other games, but it can be only sung by certain characters after paying the cost. Other than that, any other major keywords are actually going to be explained to you in line with the character itself, like for support. Whenever the character quests, which is, we'll get to that in a second, you may add an additional power or additional strength to the chosen character's strength this turn. What each other character also has, you'll see these little icons here. These are called lore, right? And this is what you're trying to quest for. So basically in the game, and we'll have some gameplay of this happening, and this is going to pretty much be what this whole playlist is me trying to play and possibly failing quite a bit. But you would tap or, tap basically this character to quest after the ink drying period or summoning sickness period, which is 1 round. Once you do, you can then receive 2 lore for each time you quest. So the opponent can choose to try to block you, if you will. And if they do, they can then, pit battle with whatever their character is and, see what the result of that is. But so long as you have already quested, you will not lose those lore points unless there's another mechanic that they have. There's a couple of cards in the game that remove lore from you every time that another character quests, etc. That aside, for the simple side of things, the number of pips that you have here would be the number of lore that you can quest for. Same here, like same. Cerberus only can quest for 1, whereas this Ariel on human legs can quest for 2. That's kind of the gist of the majority of it. This game has some amazing art across. And you figure and think about how vast the Disney, animated universe is. It is massive. You get, certain things that are just references to fun parts in a movie. One of my all-time favorites, Sword in the Stone. Archimedes the Owl from Merlin. Just a bunch of fun art. I mean, just absolutely gorgeous art. So that's kind of the gist of this. What I had started doing was trying to build out the starter decks so that we could see them in action. It's not gone well. The lists that I received or found were a little incomplete, but that's fine. So the application itself, in order to get installed, is actually pretty simple. So basically what you're going to do is you can do this one of two ways. I'll leave this link in the description below so you can get to this posting much easier, or you can just simply search for the phrase Pixelborn in Google, and it's going to still bring up pretty much this article. In order to get the client, you're just going to click on this very first link, and it's going to take you out to the Google Drive download page for it here, right? It comes in a couple of different options. You have one for PC, one for Mac, and then it looks like they actually have the APKs going out now for iOS, which is very nice to see. That is not going to be the case for me because I do not have Apple, but this card image is not going to work anymore. It was actually flagged, so in order to get to it, down here, just a little bit from the top, this image category is still valid, right? The way that this comes in whenever you do the download, it's a zip file. Unzip the folders, execute the exe, and you're in game. In order to add your card files, it'll actually prompt you for it. You just take that URL from the Reddit post, tag it here, update, and then all the card art, which has been, community provided, will then be updated and put into the game for you. And that's it. That's all there is to it to be able to run Pixelborn. This is a really fun and neat application where you can build out your different decks to see which combinations may work or which ones may not. This is the standard art for the card back. It looks like they've added a couple others for various reasons, but they even have, PvP rankings where you start out in Wood 5 and then you kind of start crawling your way through to see where you kind of land. You can do a custom game where it's just you and your friend both using the same game name, and then you can play each other. And then there's also seeing the leaderboards for their seasons, which is likely going to be based off of the cards that come out. So season 1 launched September 1st of this past year, this month I should say, September 1st, 2023, and then November this coming is when the ultimately the second season or second series in this game will be coming out. Rise of the Floodborn, I think it is. And then testing if you wish for development, but that's not really for us to really concern ourselves with. And if you want to join the Discord for Pixelborn, where you can meet a ton of like-minded individuals looking to trade ideas, etc., you can do that. One of the nice things about decks is actually that you can come here and say you created one over in an application. They give you a link or a code string. You can actually use that code string to import the deck without having to go through the process of going through the card list, creating a new one, and then selecting all your cards again individually if you've already done it. You can just import it and start playing. It's a really nice feature. That's going to be kind of it. Look in the description box below for links to the 2 channels that I mentioned, which was Unplayable and Lorcana Academy, to see how, a little deeper dive into both rulings as well as different game mechanics and things of that sort, as well as a lot. And they have a ton of gameplay, both physical cards. They have a bunch of pack openings and things of that sort to see what all they kind of pull. But just a bunch of content to consume over on those 2 channels, and they are phenomenal. I have them both kind of alternating as my background when I do normal, everyday work type stuff now. And then I'll also have the Reddit post tagged down below. Let me know if somebody, if you guys want to get a game in, or if there's a certain deck combination you would like to see. I'm going to try to build out the 3 starter decks just to see how they kind of go. And then we'll just go from there and see if there's any suggestions or requests. And, appreciate everybody taking the time. Keep an eye out for the next one. Take care, everybody.